Welcome to the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. I'm talking to people that are in exclusive relationships, not necessarily married, but the relationship's gotten to the point where it's exclusive. And communication now has to be healthy and consistent, because is it true that a relationship really at the end of the day comes down to interest and communication? If somebody's not interested in you, they're not going to communicate with you, are they? I mean, we can make up excuses and all this other stuff, but that's not going to be good enough. If you've committed yourself to an exclusive relationship and you're just being negligent, then that person's going to lose interest in you. Now, did you see how I kind of paused then? I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the mail. That's rude, right? I'm trying to make a video. I'm trying to keep your attention. I did that on purpose. It's rude. Now, a lot of these people that you end up in relationships with, well, they might say it's work. Yes, and that's legit. I've had a few girlfriends that really have had jobs that have been demanding and physical, and it's been work. But I can guarantee you, it's not really work. When you get involved with somebody that's really not going to want to make the effort, this will be a manifestation of that effort. I'm just cooking something. This is part of the beggar's buffet that you see on the channel. I've never been in a relationship where there's been negligence relative to communication. Let me put it to you like this. Why is it when you first meet somebody, they're all over the texts, they're all over the communication, and I'm not saying it's out of control or overdone, but they're making the effort. Why is that? It's simple, isn't it? They want you to be connected. Now, what happens after that initial honeymoon period or whatever it is wears off? And people, well, see, there's two sorts of people in relationships. There's focused and there's blurred. You want, if you're a blurred person, then you need a blurred person. This is about compatibility. If you're a focused person, then you need a focused person, don't you? Simple, isn't it? It's no good a focused person being with a blurred person and a blurred person being with a focused person, is there? Because it's going to cause frustration. It's going to cause questions. It's going to cause conflict. So, a focused person who loves to communicate, who wants to know how the other person feels, who wants to know where the other person's at, needs to be with a like-minded person. Okay? A person on drugs probably needs to be with a person on drugs. Right? How are you today? Oh, I'm stoned. I'm off my tree. Oh, that's good. So am I. Do you want to come and have a drink? Let's get pissed together and then try and make some. If you're a straight person, depending on how tolerant you are, that's going to be a problem. I've gone out with drug addicts before, but the problem is, what you'll find is the drugs will take over in the end. I'll just pause while this helicopter lands at the hospital. Hey, just as an interlude to the video, I'll get your helicopter coming in at the hospital. Look. That's the Westpac Rescue helicopter. He's about to land at the Gosford District Hospital at New South Wales on the Central Coast. There's probably a seriously injured person on there. And from up the top of the house there, you can see them landing on the pad. Anyway, back to... so there's different ways in which people are going to work their relationships. There's different elements of ego as well. people with big egos will make less effort. People who think that they've got everything that it takes will run on their ego, and they'll try and do as little as possible and get satisfaction out of that. There's a healthy way in having relationships, and then there's an unhealthy way. And people who are unhealthy in the way in which they want their relationships enjoy being with people that are unhealthy. People who are healthy enjoy being with people who are healthy. Hey, I'll just show you this, guy. There it is. There's the AirPad. See what I was saying? Just a little bit of an interlude to the video. Incredible, eh? There you go. So, what do you do when you're in a relationship and all of a sudden people aren't answering your texts? And you know it's not because of work, and you know it's not because of some other reason. I'll tell you what you do. You go, this person is losing interest. They're fading away. Now, it might not seem that way. They're still physically in. But you've got to look at the two ways in which relationships work. There's physically in and emotionally in, mentally in. And there's physically in and mentally out. And then there's physically in and mentally out. And then there's emotionally out and physically in. And then the conclusion is emotionally out and physically out. When somebody stops communicating, or the communicating slows down, whatever the reason is, you've got to think about things a little bit more differently. If it's not a legitimate reason, I dare say that this person might be emotionally moving out of the relationship. They'll still be physically in. They'll still come in and out. But there's got to be somewhere they're sharing their communication. There's got to be somewhere where they're emotionally connected. And that's not with you. And one of my girlfriends, I said to her, who do you talk to? Like, who do you communicate with? But they're not going to tell you. Usually it's their children. They'll have something going on with their children where they're a little bit too close and they're sharing all their personal information and daily details and stuff with their children, which doesn't really leave them much to tell you. And that's something that you need to be careful of and aware of, because they'll drop back to the children. They come from emotionally in with the children, physically present but not sexually involved, to sexually involved with you, with an attempt to be emotionally present. And some people just will only become emotionally present with you to a certain point and stay emotionally connected with their children on a surrogate level, because that's where their security and safety is, at home. And you'll find that when things start to go wrong in the relationship, they'll retract back to their domestic place of security. But when the texting slows down, you can take it or leave it however you like, but it's a concern for me. Because if somebody's not communicating with you and the momentum slows down in that area of the relationship, there's a loss of interest somewhere along the line. It's possibly not your fault. People today don't seem to be able to sustain in a healthy way a full-flowing, moving, powerful relationship. It can be due to drugs, personality disorders, alcohol, medications, and all this other stuff. And it's quite a headache to try and deal with. But when you are looking after this, right, and presenting the whole part of yourself to a person and they don't want it, walk away. Just walk away. Let that person know that this isn't sufficient for me, this ain't suiting me, and find someone that's into it. Because there are people that get it. It's beautiful when you're digging into a relationship and everybody's communicating and the intimacy's there and you know where you're going and what's going on next. It's beautiful. Don't muck around with people that muck you around. Just walk away. I'm not interested in you anymore. I don't want to engage with you anymore. The arse has fallen out of your commitment to this. And you'll be doing that person a favour. Hopefully, if they got any sense, they'll learn from it. Not everybody will. And what they do after that is shouldn't be of any concern to you. When you discard somebody, be unselfish and leave them alone. That's how it works. Process yourself, interrogate yourself, work out where you might have gone wrong in that relationship and better yourself, and move on with a clear mind, a focused life, and better yourself. Better yourself. Do not mess with this. No medications, no substances, no alcohols, no trying to cheat yourself. Because that's all these people do that are looking for ways of escape. They're just not wanting to face themselves. It's their business. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist on the ProBricky exclusive YouTube channel. If somebody's not texting you and there's not a good reason for it, they're emotionally slipping away. And the next step will be physically. Be aware of it and walk away. I'm out.